Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my Maikerants Let's Talk video number 2. This video is going to be speaking about a very controversial subject, and that is MTX. For those of you who don't know what MTX stands for, it's microtransactions. So the things you would purchase in game for advantages, whether it be bonds, treasure hunter keys, action bars, whatever, they're all microtransactions, which is MTX. Been wanting to make this video for quite a while, so without further ado, let's get right into it. I just want to start off by saying, yes, MTX is bad at times, and yes, we don't like it forced down our throat, etc. But if it wasn't for MTX when it was first released, this game probably would have died. The game was in a really bad spot when the Squirrel of Fortune was first released. And when that Wheel of Fortune was released, they managed to make additional money from that instead of just people paying for membership. This additional money kept the game alive and allowed us to get some other updates and actually keep it afloat enough to get it where it is now. But I strongly agree, treasure hunter promos like Smoldering Lamps are a bit too overpowered. But that being said, they're the most overpowered promo, and they're still so expensive if you want to level up with them. If you think about it with in-game money, if you buy a bond you get 15 keys. 15 keys then can be spent on Smoldering Lamps and whatnot. So if we compare Smoldering Lamps GP per XP to any other method in the game, Smoldering Lamps are 45 GP and XP. The other methods on screen are decent ways of training each skill, and they're so much cheaper. It just goes to show how expensive Smoldering Lamps are for in-game GP, which means even if you buy keys, it's going to be really expensive for IRL money as well. If you take a friend, for example, a friend to max an account in 3.5 days that he did with MTX with Smoldering Lamps and stuff, it cost him $13,000. That's a lot of money just to max an account. Obviously, that's every skill to 99 and stuff, and if you trained them at the start and stuff, it probably would have cost less. But even so, it's going to cost you thousands of pounds just to get your 99s through MTX. People act like, oh, you just pay to win in Runescape 3 now and you just instantly get your levels by just spending some money. People act like you spend £10 and you get all of your 99s. It really is not like that. It is very expensive still. And because it's so expensive, not many people do it unless they have a lot of money in real life. But the thing is, if someone has a lot of money in real life, they normally work a very long job. That means they don't have much time to actually play the games. So if they're working a long job, getting a lot of money, if they want to spend some of that money that they get to speed up their games on RuneScape, more power to them in my personal opinion. And then that also applies typically if you have more time, you're one of those people that maybe has a part-time job or something, so you're not going to be making tons of money to spend on MTX, you're going to spend that on your bills and things, which is fair. But then you've got more time to play the game, so you don't need MTX. Something that a lot of people complain about is their achievements are worth less now than they were before MTX. To some point, this is true. This is definitely true. But if you're looking at your 200 mil achievement and you think, hey, this is worthless because, MTX, Easyscape. 200 mil in a skill would cost thousands of pounds to buy with MTX. That is a lot of money. So why is your achievement worth less now that someone spent thousands of pounds to get a 200 mil when it took you maybe 200 hours or something? That just essentially means that your 200 hours is worth multiple £1,000. So if anything, the time you spent on the game is even more valuable, looking at it that way, in my opinion. That means that if you spend time in the game and you max an account, you've saved yourself a lot of IRL money if you were going to max it that way. Or if a random guy spent loads of money to get an achievement that you already have, shouldn't that make you feel better about yourself? You've saved money and you've got the sense of achievement yourself. Why does one person buying it with money then make it so bad for your achievement? Your achievement is a personal achievement. Why do you care about what the other people think? For me personally, if someone MTX to help them get to 5.4 bill and I didn't use much MTX at all, that just makes my achievement better and feel better as a sense. I'm going to admit, when Rainbow's End first came out, the first ever time it came into game, I bought some keys and had some fun with it with some friends who also done the same thing. No, I didn't spend thousands of pounds, but it was still nice to just get a little bit of a boost. And no, I don't buy keys 24/7, but I have done in the past, and I don't regret it. That being said, treasure hunter keys are not the only type of MTX. There's another big type of MTX, and that's bonds. You have bonds in old school and RS3. These bonds essentially allow you to buy GP legally through the game. The way they work is someone buys a bond, they sell it on the GE, they get GP, right? Someone in-game has bought that bond for that GP to get free membership as such. No one ever talks about bonds in old school as part of the MTX, but bonds in old school do make it this easy scape, as people say as well. And yes, it is MTX. It might not be Treasure Hunter, but it is MTX. If I bought bonds on old school right now, I could level up my herb lore, my prayer, and all those hard skills so quickly and so easily without making a dime. That is pay to win. I know there's the argument that RS3 is more pay to win with Treasure Hunter. Yes, I don't dispute that fact, but old school still has pay to win elements, and people act like it's the perfect game with no pay to win. But I'm not here to rant about old school or RS3 in particular, I'm just here to rant about the MTX itself, right? Bonds are healthy for the game in my opinion. They're a good form of MTX. They keep the game alive by supporting the creators. They stop somewhat of the gold sellers. It doesn't stop many of them because gold sellers are cheaper than bonds or whatever. But people definitely buy bonds, which then stops them buying them from third-party sources and then getting in trouble or getting their account compromised or whatever. It also gives the players who don't have much money IRL membership. Those bonds that people buy for free membership essentially with in-game gold come from somewhere, right? They come from a guy buying it to get some in-game GP to get an advantage. If that guy wasn't purchasing MTX and buying gold through the game, people wouldn't get free membership. And free membership is a big part of the game, and I feel like it's very, very good. And it's in a good state. Even World of Warcraft has stuff like this where they have a bond style item that they can sell on the auction house to get some GP and other people can get free membership. It's quite a popular method on MMOs and such to keep the game alive. That being said, all of this aside, there are some very, very bad forms of MTX that are way too overpriced. Things that could be so much cheaper and Jagex would still make a lot of money and it would still be perfectly fine. These type of things are bank spaces, action bars, presets, legendary pet. All of these different items are so expensive. A legendary pet does not need to be that expensive. Bank spaces do not need to be that expensive. Buying an extra preset should not cost you loads and loads of rune coins. Personally, I'm okay with keys. Personally, I'm okay with bonds. The thing that grinds my gear about MTX are those items that are so expensive and can be made so much cheaper. Why do you have to spend over 900 rune coins on a legendary pet? It could be half that price and it would still be perfect. It just makes no sense that they price these items so highly. I get that they're a company and they need to make money. I feel like more people would buy presets and bank spaces and stuff if they were cheaper. That then essentially will make them the same amount of money if more people end up buying them. The only people that I know that end up buying presets, bars, bank spaces and stuff like that are high-end players. If they were cheap, lower end players probably would be way more inclined to do it and actually purchase it. The only thing that I know out of these items that a low end player might purchase is something like a legendary pet. But nowadays, because a legendary pet is so expensive, people typically just wait for a special offer where they get a free one. Whether it be Twitch Prime, whether it be a summer special or Premier Club, they'll wait for that and they'll get it that way. And that just shows how expensive that legendary pet is if people are waiting to get a free one and they don't want to get it normally. But that's pretty much my rant on MTX as a whole. I feel like it's healthy for the game, but they take it too far. Some of the Treasure Hunter promos are way too overpowered, right? They are just so overpowered that they just shouldn't be in the game. But then again, that being said, those ones that are the most overpowered still would cost you a lot of money or a lot of in-game GP. The game was kind of saved with MTX, which is lovely, and bonds are a fantastic thing. But why charge so much for some of the MTX in the game? It's just kind of absurd how expensive some things are. And where are we going to draw the line? They need to not make more and more and more overpowered Treasure Hunter promos. And if they keep them at the level they are now, it should be okay. But if they keep releasing stuff that are better and better and better, it's going to get to the point where it is going to be cheap to max. It is going to be super cheap to get that XP. So I just hope Jagex realizes that there's other ways they make their money and they don't have to force promos down our throat. But I don't think it should be removed entirely. It just needs to be toned down a bit. And for the love of God, bank spaces, stuff like that, they need to be so much cheaper. It'd be so, so much better for everyone. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't know whether it was a good rant. I don't know whether you agree with my points or whatever. I've kind of just made this into a podcast thing where I talk to myself and you guys and just gauge your view on it. But essentially, don't let one guy's pay to win take away from your experience. It's a personal experience for a reason. You worked hard on that goal. Don't let your goal be destroyed for some guy paying for it. If anything, you didn't have to pay for it. You did it yourself. Feel better. Don't feel worse. And until next time, see ya.